Hello, I am with Seed System Solution, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through the steps of creating a new pricing or reporting year in the system and how to get that all set up so you can begin to take new orders for the new booking season. Under Menu in System Settings, there is a default year and the year toggle. This year toggle is only for your session and does not affect all users. When it is time to transition what your default year is, you will make a change under this default year and you'll select your new booking season. However, we do not recommend making this change until you are entering orders, returns, bookings, pulling reports for the new season more than you are doing stuff in the previous season. So if it is around that time when you're in about August and things are starting to transition, you do need to make that decision as to whether it's best for you to have all transactions defaulting to the new booking season or into the old booking season. But you're going to just make that change under that default year to the new year. Now, once you do this, users will not see this change until their next login session. So if you make that change and you have users logged in, it isn't going to update their default year until the next time that they log in. Now, if you've entered or changed the year and it's reverting back, it might be because you have something into this year begins field. Some people have it default that on September 1st or on a specific date that this year will change automatically. If you have that date, say September 1st, in here, it will not change this default year until this date has passed. And on this date, it will automatically change that year. So if you want to manually have this adjusted, then your year begins needs to be empty. Next to this default year, there is a checklist, as well as a PDF that gives you most of these steps. There have been slight changes in some of the things, such as genetic royalty, entering in the discount setup layout has changed minorly, and I will cover those. But otherwise, this PDF will cover most of these options here as well. For each of these, you can check the checkbox when you have it complete. It is not necessary. This is for your own tracking purposes so you know what has been completed within your company. All of these are also hot links, so it will take you to the section when you click on them. So these are some suggested items that we recommend completing prior to any new bookings being entered in the new season. Please note, if any of these changes happen after bookings have already been entered, you may need to adjust or make some changes on your current booking to get these changes to pull through, such as adjusting your price type from one price type to a new, or contacting us at Portage Bay to assist with pushing this data into current year bookings. So the first thing you're going to want to do is set up any new customer or price types. This is typically not needed. However, if you're reevaluating your customers, you may want to add different price types or change which default price they are getting associated with from your product list. So we do recommend making those changes first and then updating any customers to their new price type if needed. The next is to enter your new discount structures. So this is a layout that has changed slightly, more in just how you're selecting what you're on. So to enter your discounts, if you have any new discounts, those will need to be programmed through Portage Bay Solutions. So you will need to contact us for assistance. However, these are existing discount structures that you have. You do need to enter them within that new year. So each year, these are entered, and they are entered for the price type. For each price type, each class of product that you sell, with the exception of early payment discounts. Early payment discounts are entered based on the booking type. So that is the slight change here is you will select if it is a class discount or an early payment discount. And if it's an early payment, you select the early payment structure that you're setting up for. You can add new ones using this booking types button. Or you can set them up by the individual class. And again, which layout you're seeing here may change depending on what discounts you have had us program for you in the past. With each discount, you do need to set up the criteria such as the volume information, the percentages, the account if you're using your general ledger. The next section we're going to go into here is the discount section. And this is a screen that has changed slightly since the PDF was created. The thing that kind of changed is how you select which discount. So the same as you select your price type. Each discount is set up based on your price type. And then you have your specific class discounts. These are things, most of your discounts, such as your volume, early order, treatment, packaging, early deliveries, anything like that. Those are set up by each class of products. So you would select your price type, select class, and then which class of product you're setting these up for. Once you've selected that, these are going to show whichever year discounts that you have displaying. So you can see if I change it to 2026, all of our discounts have disappeared here. And you can re-enter those in. You would fill out each of the specific criteria within that group of discounts. And again, you're going to replicate that for each of your price types in each of your classes. Early payment discounts are set up based on your booking type. So everything on that booking type is going to qualify for this early payment discount that you have set up here. If you have both corn and soybeans on the same order, but they receive different early payment discounts, that is not possible. Those would need to be two separate booking types and on two separate bookings, and you would set up different structures for each of those bookings. Something we do have though is this new year button. What the new year will do is carry through your discounts from last year into this year, so you have less changes that you have to make each year. So to do that, you're going to toggle first to the year that you want to copy over. So you should have discounts displaying on your screen. Then you're going to press New Year. It's going to ask you what your new year or the new year is. So you will enter in that new year. And then you're going to press OK. What that's going to do is it's going to run through and cycle and copy each of the discounts from the previous year into the new year. Once that has happened, you do need to go through and adjust the dates to enter your correct date and years on all of your discounts. But this is going to copy them over so you don't have to enter everything anew. This may take a few minutes depending on how many discounts that you have in existence. So the more discounts you have, the longer the process will take. The less discounts, the faster it'll go. Once that process has completed, you can go back into your discounts. And if we toggle to that new year, again, it copies over that previous year discount. So you do just need to make adjustments such as changing your dates, correcting those. Something new we do have in discounts as well this year, if you're not using your new year button, is you can replicate a current discount into a new price type and class. So for an example here, say we wanted to replicate the dealer, we're going to do dealer, and then you select your new price type that you're copying it over to. And then you're going to select your class that you're copying it over to. So if you had the same discounts for corn amongst multiple people, you can copy that dealer and that corn and then press create. And it's going to go through, take whatever you had for that first original price type discount and copy it into that new price type. If you have early payment selected, instead of selecting your class, you would select your booking type, but otherwise it would replicate just the same. Okay, moving on to the next section. If you do enter a discount after you already have bookings, on the booking itself, you would just need to change the booking price type to a different price type, then back again to the to the correct price type, and it will recalculate all of those discounts for you. The next option is to set up your traits, and that is found in your trait royalties. Again, within trait royalties, we can copy 1 year into the next year, and to do that, we would have the year with the pricing display. We would open our hamburger menu, select a new royalty year. It is going to ask us to select that year. We would enter in our year, press OK, and it's going to do the same thing we just experienced. It's going to go through and copy all of the royalties from the year displaying on your screen into this new booking year. Or you can manually enter those royalty amounts. If you already have booking type or bookings in for your default zone, we do recommend contacting us and having us enter in those trait royalties, as sometimes updating those after the fact on that default zone can cause complications. But to enter in a new royalty amount, you're going to click the plus. You're going to enter in what the zone is. So for Syngenta, they have zones A and zone B, so we type zone A. You would enter your gross royalty. This is the amount that you would pay with no rebates. You would enter your net royalty. This is the amount you expect to pay after you experience any or receive any rebates. The net royalty amount is the amount that will also pull into any accounts for your general ledger. So this is what your liabilities and expenses will be built around. And then if there are any replanned royalties, you would enter those there. You would press save and close or save and new. If you have any royalty or any booking lines for the matching year already in the system, it is going to go through and update all of those lines. We do also recommend repeating this for every zone and entering pricing for all zones, whether you anticipate to sell in them or not. And the reason is because in case you end up selling to a zone that you didn't have royalty pricing, it's still going to then calculate your royalty pricing. If the zone is not entered, then no zone royalty can calculate for that zone because it's not in your list here. Something to note with your trait table is there is a price adjustment. So from your default zone into your new zone, if there is a price difference, whatever the price adjustment field here is what your price will change if you sell to a zone that is other than your default zone. So for example, between our default zone B and A, there's a $10 price difference. It's $10 more. That means if I sell to a customer who is in zone A, it is going to raise the price charged to them from the product list by $10 to equate to this trait royalty difference here. So whatever your price adjustment column is, that is what your price change is going to be on a booking level. If you do not want any price changes to occur, then you will want to leave your gross royalty blank and only enter in net royalties. If you need to enter a new trait, you're going to use the hamburger menu and select new. Once there, you're going to enter in your new trait. And then you're going to fill out your information, such as who your supplier is, if there's a Bayer product ID or product description, you would enter that here. Remember, your product description is who it is going to pull through for any trait royalty reporting. So this is what your trait is going to display as, not your internal trait name. So if there's a difference between those two, the description is what's pulled for reporting. The trait name that you enter is what you're using internally to display on your products. And then you do need to enter in the license company if there is one. If you will be tracking royalties, you do need to enter in liability and expense accounts. And you can mark if it's active or inactive, and then you would save that information. You can come back and edit everything except the actual trait name. Once that trait name is entered, that is locked in. You would need to contact Portage Bay for any changes on the actual trait name. Moving on down the list, after our trait royalties, we would set up those new traits and enter our trait royalty pricing. Next would be to move into our product list. Here is where we would make all of our products inactive. We would create any new products that we have, and we would enter in new product pricing. So our link here is going to take us to our product list. Here we could filter and we could show any active products, or we can narrow that down to specific classes. Again, for product pricing, we do have the ability to carry old pricing into a new year. So again, we're going to start on whatever year that we have that we want to copy over. In our hamburger menu, we would select new pricing year, and it's going to ask us to enter in that new year to continue through or to copy over to. So once we enter that year and we press OK, it's going to go through and copy whatever our found set is. So this one's a little bit different. It doesn't copy all products pricing. It's only going to copy your found set. So you can copy pricing over for just a specific class or a specific hybrid. You do not have to copy all pricing over. So this one is a little bit different. Whatever your found set is what the pricing is that's going to be copied versus everything in the table. To make a product inactive, if you open the product, you can select the Make Inactive button, and that will make it inactive. We do recommend that you verify if you have on-hand inventory and try and solve for that before you make it inactive. Your inactive products can still display on your position report through an option of a filter. So you do have the option to display those or not display them on your position report. You can also make multiple products at once using the product wizard. So this is for setting up any new products. We do have a video specifically on the product wizard. So if you need any assistance on how to utilize the product wizard, you can view our video on setting new products and using the product wizard. And then again, pricing can be entered here from this main screen. You would want to make sure your year is correct for your pricing. You can enter it on this main screen, or you can enter it within the price detail to view additional pricing. The next thing in our new year is going to be genetic royalty. So for our genetic royalties, that's entered on our genetic royalty table. To enter new genetics in, if they aren't already in your list, you can press new, but this should contain a genetic record for every product already in your product list. So you can use your filters to narrow that down. Again, for pricing, if you want to carry royalties over from your previous booking season to your new one, you can do that using your new year button. Just like everywhere else, it's going to copy your year that's displayed on your screen into your new year. So you would enter your new booking year here, press OK, and it's going to copy all genetic pricing from the year displaying on your screen right now into the new year. You can also manually enter in your product pricing or your royalty pricing by selecting the hybrid that you want to enter pricing for. And then you're going to go down to this royalty amount. On the female side, new this year is new in 2026 is the option to enter pricing per zone. And this is due to corn states pricing changing. With that, we do recommend that all of your pricing is entered for all of the Bayer corn states zones. And then this will do a price adjustment based on your zone, what your default zone is in your trait table for Bayer. This is going to stack on top of any trait royalty pricing. So due to this change, if you begin to enter hybrid level pricing for any hybrids, you do need to enter them for all hybrids that include that trait. Or you need to just enter the difference into this genetic royalty table. So if it's different than the standard trait change, you would just enter the difference here. But unfortunately, with how Bayer is going and Corn States is going to product level pricing, the recommendation is to enter it um, all per hybrid into your genetic royalty table. If your supplier is Bayer, there is the Bayer API connection that we can use to pull the Bayer pricing down from their website. So you would link based on your Bayer product name or product UPC, and it would then automatically pull that pricing into this table for you. But again, you would enter it based on each zone for Bayer. So zone 1, 2, 3, and then you would enter in what they're saying the royalty pricing is. And again, that's their product pricing. So that's going to include your genetic and your trait royalties all together. And then if there's a replant amount, you would enter what that replant royalty is. Again, if there is any pricing or genetic royalty pricing, you do need to make sure you enter your expense and liability accounts as well. And then that is our genetic royalty. Next would be setting up any sales rep allocations. So to do that, you would go to your allocation report. You would search for any products or hybrids that you want to allocate. Please note that your allocation will not change your position report. This is just strictly to allocate seed for your own individual purposes, inside purposes, but it does not change what displays on the position report. You can have a position stopped based on allocation for specific sales reps, so they will be stopped from placing an order if they're past their allocation, but this isn't going to change what displays on a position report. So to enter your allocation, you can do it by department, by sales rep, or by dealer. You would click into your sales rep or whichever column. You would select who you're assigning the allocation for and how many units you're assigning. If there are already bookings, you will begin to see what that booked number is. And then you can view allocations from your reports, sales. There is the allocation report for setting up allocations or the allocation detail report for viewing where you are in comparison to those allocations. Going back to our list here, I'm going to skip the next one and go to position restrictions. Position restrictions is on your main system settings page here. And this is where you can restrict if you can sell that product if it's oversold. So the position is negative or 0, or we'll send this into a negative position. So this is going to stop based on overall position, not individual hybrids. It will stop the hybrid, but you can't set this up uniquely for just one hybrid. It is set at a class level. You can also have multiple dates, so at different times of the year, different things happen, such as early on in the season, maybe we're only stopping for variety. Then as the season goes, we're going to bring in and only stop at specific grades. Then as the season goes a little bit further, it has to be an exact product match, so we're not going to do any additional work orders. We can also make a change to stop or stop it for the location position. So you have to have it on hand at the location that is requested. Otherwise, they can't place the order. There's also the ability to allow an override. So if the allow override is selected, it will notify the user that the product is going to be oversold, but it will still allow them to place the order. So it gives them a warning, but still continues with that placement. And again, these are set up per individual class of products. These are not required, but they can be set up. And within your users, within your job settings, this is where you would set if, say, your sales rep is seeing your allocation and it's going to stop them based on an allocation, or if they can see their entire position number. All right, and the final thing in the checklist is just your sales rep commissions. So if you are going to use our calculations for our sales rep commission, you can set those up using the sales rep commission setup report, or you could set them up under the sales rep in system settings. Under their gear icon, there is a commission tab. So again, you can set them up here, or you can set them up within the report. So within the report, there is the option to carry over again the last year commission into this year by going to your year, selecting new year, and then again entering in your year you're copying into, and then pressing OK. It's going to go through and copy in the previous year from this all the commissions over into the new year and create a duplicate. Otherwise, you can set up individually using a few options such as the duplicate option, the new option, and then just entering in the required information. So what your year is, who the sales rep is, price type, class, etc. Once all of those items are complete, you can then begin to enter in the new booking or orders for the new booking year. Again, if you don't complete these prior to entering in new orders, just some things such as changing your price type or notifying us that these changes have been entered, so we can go through and push any of these updates out to those existing orders. We do recommend completing these though as early as possible in the season so your calculations are correct from the beginning and the least amount of things have to be entered or updated later on after the fact. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us at grow@csystem.co, or you can attend one of our bi-monthly Zoom meetings. The link for those are sent out in our monthly newsletter, and or you can give us a call if you have any questions.